you are a data manager or a school administrator, this is really important information for you. You may have already learned about some of this from a previous webinar that the help desk did. You might have even kind of been looking at some of those reports. So if you have a medium level of comfort, I'd like for this to maybe be a little bit extra for you so that you can increase your knowledge of the reports that are available to you as a data manager. And then after that, I'll show you the reports from the teacher side. Okay, so if you want to, when you want to access the reports as a data manager, you will actually log in and you'll click on the administration link that's on the top of your dashboard. And that's where you access all of your admin function. Then when you're on that page, you're going to click on reports, which is on the left side of the bar, and there's a drop-down menu. Once you get to that drop-down menu, you're going to see an array of reports there for you. And on the next slide, we've kind of listed all of the reports, and I'll kind of briefly explain them. And then I'm going to go live on the K-Ready system and show you just a couple reports and kind of model for you how you might use them for your school and for your administration. So there are 6 reports on here showing that are available during and after the administration window, specifically for data managers. We're not talking about teachers at this point. We're just looking at what's available to data managers and administrators. So it's really nice during the window if you want to know how many students have completed the full KRA. That would be the KRA percentage completion report, also sometimes known as the teacher completion report. And that just gives you a percentage, 100%, 75%, etc. And that will show you the progress toward 100% completion of the full KRA. But maybe you've looked at that and you see that not all of the teachers are at 100%. So now you want to dig down and see, well, which students and which classrooms have missing items. Then you would generate the KRA completion by item report. That's an enhanced completion report that will actually show you student by student, item by item. And I'll show you that report, because if you see that some students are missing items, you'll know exactly which items are missing, and you can go maybe talk to the teacher and provide any support necessary. Maybe you want to find out how children are doing in just the language and literacy domain. Now, we know that charter non-public schools are not required to adhere to the 3rd grade reading guarantee policy, which is required for the public and community schools to identify children who are on track or not on track in that domain. But that report is still available to you if you're interested to see how are the children performing just in that domain. And that's the language and literacy score report. And that's available during the window and after the window for the data managers. This report really is only beneficial, though, if all of the language and literacy items have been completed with the scores reported in the system. Same thing for the KRA domain data. This is really beneficial if all of the data has been entered for all of the students in each of the domains. Data managers can generate this report, and it's going to show you each child in the system that has scores submitted, and you can see how they performed on every single item, and it's broken out by domain. I'm also going to show you that report in just a few minutes. The last report is not available, the last 2 actually are not available to data managers until after the window has closed and after data managers have done their cleanup. We will communicate with you to let you know when these are available in the system. Those are the KRA individual student report, we call it the ISR report, and then the KRA scaled score report. And those 2 reports, as I mentioned, you'll have to wait until later as a data manager. Teachers have access to those now, and I'll explain those in a few minutes. So I'm going to go live briefly, and I'm going to show you the domain data report and the KRA completion report. I'm logging into our account that we use. It has all fake data. At the department, we do not have access to look at any data out in the field. We use all fake data. So I'm logging into my fake data manager account. I'm clicking on administration and then reports. And I've actually already generated some of these reports, so I'm going to skip that step and just actually download those reports. So I'm looking at the enhanced completion report that I generated yesterday, and I download that report. All of these open up as a CSV, and you can save them as a CSV or Excel. They end up opening in Excel for me. I have a lot of students, a lot of teachers here, and again, it goes by item all the way across. One thing you need to know is it does not tell you the name of the item. So if you want to know which items these are, you would have to work with the teacher and have the manual. And the teachers would be able to point out which items. But you would know that MA stands for mathematics. LL stands for language and literacy. Scrolling all the way over, SF is social foundations, and PD is physical development and well-being. Now, I need to have a conversation based on this report with some of my teachers here because there's a lot of missing data. Any blanks show items that have missing data. If you see an X all the way across, that means that that child's scores have been entered for those items. So I see here that it looks like I only have 2 students with all of their items entered. So I would want to have a conversation with my teachers and say, is there anything I can do to help you, support you? Maybe the teacher took the time and entered the items on a paper score sheet that they're using with plans to go back tonight or tomorrow during the lunch period or planning period and enter the scores in the system. A lot of teachers do that. I would caution you though to not wait until the last day. So get the data entered so that you can feel confident that everything will be done by the due date on November 1. So that's the enhanced completion score report. The next one I'm going to show you is the domain data export. And so I would create the report, come here, and I would click on KRA domain data report. I select the data collection, which is the kindergarten readiness assessment. And I'm going to pick Ohio Department of Education. That's my school that's in here. If I wanted to select a location, I could do that, but I'm just going to keep it at the district level for this one. And then I request District Excel. I X out of that. I see my report has been successfully requested, and I can see it down here. It's processing. Sometimes it might take a little while to process. So while that one is processing, I'm just going to come down and show you. This is a report, the exact same report. I processed it on October 23rd. It's already complete. So I'm going to go ahead and download that one. There may be differences between the one I did on the 23rd and the one I do today based on which teachers have entered score. Remember, this is all fake data, but it would be real on your end. Now, so this is a different class, and more scores have been entered compared to the completion report that I just showed you. Okay, and I did that for the purpose of just showing you that there's more data here. So in this class, again, this domain data export here, it's separated by domains. You see the tabs at the bottom? I have mathematics on the first tab, language and literacy, social foundations, and physical well-being and motor development. Remember I mentioned that the name of the items is not listed, but it's actually the item code. So if you wanted to know which item it matches these, you would have to work with the teachers and be looking at the student manual. But what's interesting about this report is you see the possible points, and then you can see the average score based on how the children performed. So each child is listed here in the first column, all of the items across the top, and then if data has been entered, you would see the score. So on this first math item, I know it's worth 3 points. My children altogether received an average score of 1, and I can see Padme earned 3 points, Bob earned 0, and I also had Mickey who received an NS. NS stands for not scoreable. Not scoreable is an option for some children who may not be able to access the item even with allowable supports. So if you don't remember that from training or you didn't attend the training, we want you to be clear that NS means not scoreable. Okay. So I can look across here and I could think, well, in mathematics, which skills were students most able to demonstrate? And I might do that by looking at the average points, or maybe kind of just looking to see how children scored. So if I look at, say, column E, I see that's a 3-point question. So that's going to be a performance task. A 3-point question is going to require children to, perform some sort of task. And I see 3 of my children earned all 3 points. I see 2 children earned 2 out of the 3. 1 child earned 1, and we're missing scores on Luke. So I need to find out, maybe he's been absent, or maybe the teacher hasn't entered the scores. Same thing with Gomer at the bottom here. But this would help me as a teacher in planning, because I know that some children are able to demonstrate the skill. They can continue to practice and hone on that skill, whereas I may need to do some instruction for the other ones and provide some experiences that will allow them to explore that math skill. Okay, you could do the same thing and have conversations with all of those domains. And this is a really good report that you might sit down with your teachers during a data meeting as you're planning instruction for the school year, looking at where skills need to be reinforced or where there might be some things lacking from their early experiences before they came to kindergarten. And just again, as you're thinking about those reports, you might be asking, which skills really stand out as areas where children need remediation. So that domain data report is really nice to think about differentiated instruction, remediation, or enrichment.